What the fuck? Earlier today, Stephen Miller let out a notice to ICE and Homeland Security and Customs and Border Patrol to 5x their apprehension numbers, by the way. This is the result of that. They want to 5x the number of apprehensions. And obviously because all of the actual fucking criminal migrants were already being prosecuted by the previous administration, as I told you, the only people that they can actually get are non-criminal migrants that are waiting for asylum. And another way to try and boost those numbers and continue mass deportations is trying to have people with asylum cases that are already on the court docket. Anyway, LA is about to start getting lit on fire soon. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this. LAPD is collaborating with ICE. This is outside of Ambience Factory. Another clear example, the LAPD and the city of Los Angeles collaborating with ICE, proving that the sanctuary city was always bullshit. Mayor of LA Silence supports this. Apparently, Homeland Security and ICE is raiding a downtown Los Angeles warehouse right now. They've locked the doors and holding the employees inside. What is this? Your boy Albrego turns out to be a real great guy. What happened? Did the federal government decide to slap him with some fucking charges so they bring him back so they can say he's a real criminal just so they can fucking deport him again? Is that what's going on? This is straight up Gestapo shit. Breaking, the president of California's largest union has been detained during an ICE raid. The SEIU California president David Huerta injured, detained at ICE raid in Los Angeles. What the fuck? Mayor Karen Bass says we will not stand for this. This morning, we received reports of federal immigration enforcement actions in multiple locations in Los Angeles. As mayor of a proud city of immigrants who always contributes to the city in so many ways, I am deeply angered by what has taken place. Okay, why the fuck did the LAPD also do a perimeter outside of the ICE enforcement action? Like, you're the mayor, Mayor Karen Bass. You have control over your fucking goons. That's crazy. Let's be clear. ICE injured and detained the president of the SEIU California for peacefully observing. ICE picked the wrong side, the wrong state, the wrong person, and the wrong union. David Huerta stood up, and 750,000 SEIU workers are standing with him. LA emergency protests from the Community Self-Defense Coalition stop deportations now. ICE has hundreds of members of our community kidnapped and is holding them at this location. What the fuck is happening, bro? What the fuck? This is my backyard. Jesus, Lord mercy. FBI riot team is out in the streets of Los Angeles and getting pushed out by community on the ground. I can't even go down there today because my live stream backpack got canceled. I can't even film it, rather, if I go down there. I can't live stream it.
It's out here. Back to you.
Man, I have to get it. I have to reopen an account. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Well, Carlos, as we continue to watch this with you, I'm noticing as you saw ATF agents, we saw those vans.
Sorry if I can't hear. It's because, as you might imagine,
what
bit
the
chaotic out
fuck?
Here. We're connecting again. I think I can hear you now.
Okay, so Carlos, you mentioned ATF agents, but you also said,
go down with your phone. Man, shut the fuck up. You guys don't know anything. God damn, go down with your phone. You think I'd be able to fucking film this with a phone? Are you stupid? Do you know how cooked the fucking broadband is in a populated area like this? Chat, shut up.
Homeland Security, we saw ICE agents, you said, but they have mostly focused on just the one building ambiance, correct? And now as they leave, we're starting to see more tear gas and it looks like fireworks. So the crowd is continuing to engage with the officers who are very methodically starting to leave the area. And it does sound like we're having a hard time in those vans. And it was a very different scene. You can see that they've gotten the people.
Holy shit, this is fucking madness, dude. Jesus Christ. The Gestapo is out and about.
And they put them.
Especially, where in LA is this? Is downtown Los Angeles. Downtown Los Angeles. This is a crazy place to do this because California is a state that has a shit ton of immigrants in it and a shit ton of undocumented immigrants in it as well. And it's supposed to be a sanctuary state, and Los Angeles is supposed to be a sanctuary city. So not only will the people of Los Angeles not fuck around with this, and they'll definitely get very, very mad about this. But also on top of that, like the state government and the local government is supposed to protect these people.
In these vans, and as these officers, these authorities started to leave, it was a very strange sight to see, because they started to leave and there were people who were protesting, trying to keep these vans from getting out. And the video seen here is deeply troubling, because these officers, look, there's that person in front, and the officers did.
What the fuck?
Stay on the sidewalk, please. Stay on the sidewalk.
Earlier today, Stephen Miller let out a notice to ICE and Homeland Security and Customs and Border Patrol to 5x their apprehension numbers, by the way. This is the result of that. They want to 5x the number of apprehensions. And obviously, because all of the actual fucking criminal migrants were already being prosecuted by the previous administration, as I told you, the only people that they can actually get are non-criminal migrants that are waiting for asylum. And another way to try and boost those numbers and continue mass deportations is trying to have people with asylum cases that are already on the court docket come into the courts and then apprehend them at the hallways of the courts. Like, they bring people in and they're like, oh, here's your regular fucking court order date. And they go into the court, they talk to the judge, they walk outside, and they get apprehended. They're honeypotting people who are lawfully cooperating with the federal government. They did this with Mohsen Mahdawi as well, if you remember, where he was a green card holder who went into a naturalization ceremony where they fucking kidnapped him. So he wasn't even like an undocumented migrant and an asylum seeker with like the proper documentation waiting for his application to be fulfilled, which again is legal. Just so you understand, those people are legally working on U.S. soil. These are people that are, more often than not, legally working on U.S. soil. They have a court date. They're waiting for their documentation to clear. They're not like illegally crossing the border and then hiding from the authorities. These are people who are collaborating with the authorities and going through the lawful process of getting complete permanent legal status. In response to the claims of immigrants detained in the basement of a federal building in LA after their ICE check-in, a DHS spokesperson has issued the following statement. Those arrested at executable final orders of removal by an immigration judge and had not complied with that order. If you are in the country illegally and a judge has ordered you to be removed, that is precisely that will happen. During the Biden administration, thousands of illegal aliens, including violent criminals with final orders of removal, were on ATD and were allowed to roam our communities. This should never have been the case. Thanks to the leadership of Secretary Noel and President Trump, the proper policy is back in place. It's bullshit. ICE's ATD, Intensive Supervision Appearance Program, ISAP, exists to ensure compliance with release conditions. All illegal aliens are afforded due process. New, Ben Schrader, the former chief of the criminal division for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Nashville, resigned following the office's decision to seek an indictment against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Sources familiar with the matter tell ABC News. This is the other side of the story that we're going to talk about. We are obviously going to have to wait for more details to come out, but this resignation really puts the administration's allegations in context. Based on the indictment, couldn't the drivers of the buses that Abbott hired to transport migrants be prosecuted since they drove people from Texas to New York? How was that not human trafficking? That was human trafficking. In downtown LA, a business owner has locked ICE inside the business. ICE came to search and are now trapped inside. The FBI has just arrived. Eggs are being thrown at the agents and vehicles. FBI's on screen. FBI's on scene. Things are calming down in LA. The owner locked a business to keep others from getting in because a riot was ensuing. ICE captured 20 people from this location. There's another 20 people. There's another where they took another 20. Crowds were not letting the agents leave, and ICE called FBI for backup. The crowd turned into a mob for a while. This is a fucking right winger, by the way, covering this. So just understand why they're saying it like this. This is how they're framing it.
Listen, just one of you guys comment, I'll pin it.
Finally, the crowd was pushed back. The vehicles left, and then the crowd dispersed. Rumors that these people are now going to protest at the federal courthouse. Maybe the crowd was illegal also. Probably. This is a new level of insanity. We'll talk about the Kilmar Brega Garcia situation as well. But I don't know how far this administration can take this. This happened in San Diego. ICE took people during business hours. I saw this. I thought people in San Diego actually pushed back the ICE agents, or was that in Minneapolis? There have been like immigrant enforcement actions taking place all around the country. And in some places, people have, like citizens, documented natural born U.S. citizens, have been able to successfully push ICE out in some of the immigrant enforcement actions. Once again, these are dragnets, okay? This is not a legal immigrant enforcement action. This is a dragnet applied against as many fucking people as possible with no actual reason, no real like criminal complaint or anything like that. What in a lot of these circumstances, what these guys do, what the administration does, by their own admission, is to basically claim, or not claim, but like change the court dates of undocumented migrants, or rather not undocumented migrants, but like migrants that are waiting on their applications or their court dates, hoping that some of them will not actually arrive at that court date, hoping that some of them do not have constant contact with their immigration attorneys, and don't have like up-to-date information with the courts in general, so that when they are not properly informed of their court dates, because the court dates changed, for example, they can turn around and say, oh, they didn't show up. This means you're done. This means that you are now officially illegally on U.S. soil. And they do this so they can turn around and apprehend people. Remember, these are not people that are unwilling to cooperate with local law enforcement and federal agencies. These are actually the people that are cooperating with the federal agencies. Make no mistake. They are easier to apprehend. They are easier to apprehend. That's why the people, it's not done at the point of like, criminality. It's not done at the point of like severe and heinous violent crimes or anything. It's done at the point of convenience to the state. It is the most convenient people that you can apprehend. Those who are cooperating with the federal agencies, thinking that, there is a rule of law, thinking that the rule of law is actually being followed, when clearly there is not a rule of law being followed here. And also, they're not too cowardly to go after the real criminals, okay? That's not true at all. It's just that the real criminals are already being gone after. They have been. This is why I kept saying over and over again, the notion that the Biden administration wasn't actually properly prosecuting people that have done crimes because they're undocumented was fucking insane. That's not real. That's not a real situation at all. Undocumented migrants are responsible for less crimes than natural-born U.S. citizens are. Undocumented migrants are responsible for less crimes per capita than natural-born U.S. citizens are. The increase in crime is greatly overstated, greatly overblown, sure. But even the marginal increase and then decrease in crime has nothing to do with waves of migration into the country. Okay? Here is Associate Professor of Public Policy at UVA, Baton, John B. Holbane, saying immigrants have had lower incarceration rates than the U.S. born for 150 years. Immigrant incarceration rates have declined since 1960. Immigrants today are 60% less likely to be incarcerated. This decline is a far broader divergence of outcomes between less educated immigrants and their U.S. born counterparts. There is Since the 60s, there has not been, not this year. No, they're deporting people for tickets and shit, literally anything they can, not this year. There's never been a point where undocumented migrants have done more crime per capita than natural born U.S. citizens. Natural born U.S. citizens are responsible for the overwhelming majority of crimes, and they are responsible for a higher share of crimes adjusted to their population numbers. Okay? This is the truth. This is the fucking truth. And when faced with that reality, the dumbest guy you know will turn around, because he's in this chat usually whenever I talk about this. The dumbest guy you know that's in this chat will turn around and say, well, what if they're just like really good at crimes and doing the crimes? Or when they realize that that's too stupid of an argument to make, considering that if that was the case, it would bear itself out in the fucking data, okay? Obviously. Like, or the unsolved crimes. They'll be like, oh, what about the unsolved crimes? Like, they're all actually done by undocumented migrants. It's ridiculous. There is no reason to assume that the per capita density share would not resemble the solved crimes that have been cleared, but also the last bastion of the last line of defense here is to just simply say, well, crossing the border is a crime. So is fucking jaywalking, you know? The guy they caught in Oregon as the head of the Sinaloa cartel operation that led the biggest fentanyl bust in history had been deported twice and re-entered. Deporting someone doesn't mean they won't come back. Well, there's that too, but these aren't fucking the head of the Sinaloa cartel. These are just like regular ass people that are awaiting their fucking court dates while they work. What's the argument for mass migration? Hasan. Who commits the most crimes per capita? Natural born U.S. citizens do. American citizens do. Are you trying to say black people? Is that what your argument is going to be? Do you think the likelihood of someone committing crimes is born out of their material circumstances or some other reason, like their culture or their racial got them? No, you didn't. You didn't get me at all. You're not listening to my words. Undocumented migrants, despite the fact that they actually comprise of a much poorer a group of people from all around the world, by the way, many different demographics, many different ethnic backgrounds, still actually underperform on criminality as opposed to natural born U.S. citizens who obviously have a higher likelihood to commit crime depending on their financial status. Also, this is still an idiotic fucking argument. The per capita argument on the other side is not an indication of criminality for this group. You don't say every man is a criminal when, 90+% of all violent crimes are committed by men. Okay. You don't say every white man is a pedophile.